Hey, what's up? Welcome back to True Crime Unraveled. I'm your host, Robert, and this is just getting more and more interesting, especially with Dylan. And they have a whole bunch of her statements in the Frank's hearing denial. Defendant has not met his Frank's burden on issue 3, number 10, eyewitness statements. In issues 3 and 10, defendant challenges the probable cause statements insofar as they set forth witness DM's interview descriptions of things she heard and saw on the night of November 13th, 2022. Defendant claims the law enforcement failed to inform the magistrate that DM's accounts describing the suspect were variable, that she questioned her memory, and that she did not recognize defendant when provided with a photo of him after his arrest. Defendant also contends that the law enforcement misrepresented statements made by DM that would have demonstrated her unreliability. These allegedly false statements and omissions, according to defendant, were exculpatory and material, while defendant's challenges may be fodder for cross-examination. It is not the proper subject for a Frank's motion. Defendant's own proffer establishes that DM accounts were remarkably consistent throughout her multiple interviews with law enforcement, and further, the probable cause affidavits are very consistent with her accounts. That's not freaking true. Second, DM's interview statements that her memories were fuzzy and dreamlike and may have been affected by being tired or under the influence of alcohol do not call into question her reliability to the extent Franks would require disclosure. That right there, that Judge Hippler is trying to stack the deck against Brian Koberger. And we all know exactly how inconsistent Dylan has been through this entire thing. Even her changing her stories to the police. I didn't see nothing. I didn't know nothing. She said that on multiple interviews. Stood tall twice. Third one, yeah, I was completely drunk and I didn't see nothing. Didn't see nothing. Didn't know nothing. I didn't know if it was real or a dream. Second, DM's interview statements that her memories were fuzzy and dreamlike may have been affected by being tired under the influence of alcohol do not call into question her reliability to the extent Franks would require disclosure. Finally, DM's failure to recognize the photo of defendant is not consequence given that the intruder she saw was masked. Oh my! It is consequence. It is consequence. She could not ID Brian through the photo. I mean, all we got was her generic statement: 5'10" or taller, athletically built, not muscular, bushy eyebrows, clad in black, with a COVID face mask. She could have still identified this dude's eyebrows. DM's accounts were consistent and accurately summarized in Exhibit A, the probable crap affidavit, as I call it. The draft exhibit, circulated by law enforcement, included the following description of statements DM made during her interviews with law enforcement. DM made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and reportedly asleep approximately by 4 a.m. This with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Gonzalez saying something to the effect there's someone here. And in that PCA, uh, Brett Payne said it was more than likely Kernodle, not Gonzalez, because Kernodle uh, got a DoorDash order and was supposedly awake and on TikTok. A review of forensic records associated with a download of Kernodle's cell phone indicated she was likely awake using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Cornell's room. Why didn't she go and check on Xana to see if she was okay if she heard crying? DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." That sounds more like an EMT or a police officer. At approximately 4:17, a camera at 1112 King Road picked up audio of what sounded like a struggle coming from off camera. This doesn't say this sounds like Kernodle's room. This says off camera. The security camera is less than 50 feet from Kernodle's bedroom. The struggle lasted less than a minute, and unintelligible sounds can be heard on the camera. This wasn't in the actual PCA, where it says struggle coming from off camera. And it wasn't in the PCA saying the security camera uh, is less than they did state it was less than 50 feet away from Cornell's bedroom wall, but it did not state the struggle lasted less than 1 minute, and unintelligible sounds can be heard on the camera. We heard it was a thud and a whimper. This is saying unintelligible sounds. DM stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock face. As the male walked towards the back sliding glass door, DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. This portion of the draft Exhibit A was incorporated in varying degrees into Blaker's Exhibit A, D2 at Bates, Payne's Exhibit A, D3-B at Bates, and Maury's Exhibit D3-A at Bates. When these exhibits as were submitted in support of a search warrant applications, DM had set for at least 3 interviews with law enforcement. 2 on November 13th, 2022, 1 with Officer Nunez, and later with Detective Maury, and 1 on November 17th with Detective Gooch. Her description of the intruder was notably similar with all 3 interviews. White male, slim, skinny, lean built, type 3, slightly taller than DM, 5'10", wearing all black, wearing a mask that was covering his forehead and mouth. Okay, that right there. How could she see his bushy eyebrows if he was wearing a mask covering his forehead and mouth? That, yeah, right there. Wearing all black, wearing a mask that was covering his forehead and mouth. a voice she didn't recognize saying he was here to help. And so the intruder walked out or towards the back sliding door without saying anything to her, while she did not tell Officer Nunez that she noticed the intruder carrying a vacuum type object in his hand. She did not convey that information to Detective Mowry. Oh, she did convey that information to Detective Mowry later that day, as well as Detective Gooch a few days later, or after that. She also told Detective Gooch that she remembered that the suspect's eyebrows were bushy, but could not remember their color. Likewise, told Detective Mowry she could not remember the color of his eyebrows. But yet, up here, she said that he was wearing a mask that covered his forehead and his mouth. So, how could she see his eyebrows? More importantly, not only are DM statements consistent with each other with regard to the intruder's description, they were accurately included by law enforcement in the exhibit as set forth. There is not one statement in the affidavits regarding the intruder that cannot be traced directly to DM's words. Consequently, defendant has not demonstrated an intentional or reckless false statement or omission of a material exculpatory fact that with regard to law enforcement's recounting of DM's description of suspect. Well, that right there, guys. How could she see his eyebrows when she stated to the law enforcement he had a mask over his forehead and his nose and mouth? So how did she see his eyebrows if that's covering his forehead and his nose and mouth? Anything that's covering your forehead would come past your eyebrows or come just far enough down to where it covers your eyebrows. So how did she see his eyebrows? Defendant also asserts that Exhibit A watered down DM statements about hearing Gonzalez around the time of the homicides. According to the defendant, DM was unequivocal in her 3 interviews when she reported that approximately 4 a.m. she heard Miss Gonzalez walk upstairs with her dog before running back down the stairs saying, "Someone's here." Okay. How could Kaylee come running back down the stairs saying there's someone here when Kaylee was getting more likely stabbed to death? That's another inconsistency with Dylan. In Draft Exhibit A, however, law enforcement represented that DM said she heard who she thought was Gonzalez saying to the effect, "There's someone here." Emphasis added. DM argues the addition of the word thought is false, and further, defendant surmises it was intentionally false to cover up the fact that DM was wrong about what she heard. Defendant points out that Miss Gonzalez was killed in the upstairs bedroom where she was found the next morning. Thus, it could not have been her whom DM heard running down the stairs at 4 a.m. Defendant contends the DM's uh, misperspection, had it not been covered up by law enforcement, could have cast doubt on her reliability and therefore probable cause. However, the statement challenged by defendant uh, can be read in 2 ways. That DM said, "I think it was Ms. Gonzalez," which is how a defendant apparently reads it, and which he claims an inconsistent with DM's interview statements. Or 2, that DM said that A DM said she heard Miss Gonzalez, but law enforcement had a reason to think it could have been someone else, Xana. When the statement is viewed in context, the latter makes more sense in their respective exhibit at A's, as Detective Payne and Sergeant Blaker immediately followed up the challenge statement with the following: a review of records obtained from a forensic download of Cronodal's phone showed this could have also been Cronodal, as her cell phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. Payne Exhibit A at Bates 5161. Blaker Exhibit A at Bates 5200. Emphasis added. Though the explanation Payne and Blaker are effectively conveying to the magistrate why they believed DM's statements of who she heard was questionable. Thus, the court cannot conclude there is anything false or misleading in the regard. Yes, there is, stuff that's false. Dylan's statements are false because if you look at it, she says they were wearing a mask that covered the forehead, the nose, and mouth. How could she see? How could she see the bushy eyebrows if the perpetrator had a mask on that covered the forehead, nose, and mouth? She is unreliable. Like always, guys, like, subscribe, comment on my channel. While you're here, uh, click the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button, and on my channel page, there's a link to W Energy. It's an energy drink that doesn't give you the jitters afterwards, and they got some awesome flavors. Uh, while you're at my homepage, go ahead and just click the W Energy link and see if they got something that you like. It's an energy drink that's got no jitters to it. So I know a lot of times, people drink like Monsters and C4s and Rock Stars. Uh, you guys get the jitters afterwards. Well, with W Energy, you don't get the jitters. And I'll actually show you guys what the website looks like if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. Get into it. There you go. That's the W website. You got Calio Cream. You got Shadow Monarch, Igris Strike Solo, Japanese soda flavor. For $16, you guys get a starter sample with a pack, starter sample pack with 3 flavors. You get there's a Palm Blom, Grandpa's Denture Water Energy Drink, Purple Dub Sauce Energy Drink Tub, and all that is no jitter. So those energy drinks are no jitter. So so you can drink, and they come in a tub that has like an individual packet in it, and you can put it in your, like your travel mug, and you won't get no jitters from it. It's all natural energy drinks. Well, this is True Crime Unraveled. I hope you guys have a good Thursday. And please leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know about what you think about what's going on with Dylan. Y'all have a good night. Peace.